Okay, let's hope that the screen will stay on this time, at least for the duration of presentation. So today I want to talk about Judit Polgár, and let's just start straight away. So Judit Polgár, she is a chess grandmaster, one of the most known chess masters in the world. She is to this day in a top 100 chess players. If you look at statistics, she's not playing anymore, at least not officially. So she's playing, games for show and stuff like that, but she's not playing rated games. She's not playing in tournaments anymore, but she used to. She is a person, actually, if you search for the greatest woman chess player, you will find her, despite the fact that there are women's chess championships, and she never won one of them, but she's still considered, and she probably is, the greatest woman chess player. She was born, and she still lives in Hungary. She was born on 23rd of July, 1976.
Sorry.
Yep.
Is it a woman?
Yes.
Oh. Sorry.
So, she was born in Budapest, in a Hungarian Jewish family, and she has two older sisters, and both of them, they were and they are chess players. In fact, Judith herself said that her older sister, Susan, is actually more talented chess player. So Judit Polgár had to work harder, but talent-wise, she says that Susan was much more talented. It was easier for her, but it so happened that Judith is more well-known, and she got higher in the ratings and in stature than her sister. Her sister is actually a GM, a grandmaster as well, and her other sister, Sophia, is international master. It's slightly lower standard, so I don't know how much you know about chess, but each country has their own masters. So Russia will have Russian masters, like Russian masters. The United States will have United States masters. And then there are international masters, and that they are internationally recognized. And then the top tier are called grandmaster. So grandmaster is like, that's it. After that, you are just trying to become the best grandmaster at all, right? So being GM, it's really not that many people become GMs. It's not a trivial thing. It's very difficult. Her father's philosophy was that geniuses are made, not born, and therefore what they did in their family, they have taught their children themselves, and they try to specialize, and they chose to specialize in chess. And that means they actually trained at home to play chess. And when I mean train, I mean, when I say train, I mean they literally spend several hours a day learning chess. So it's not, it's not simple couple of games that they played a week. It's really, they tried to play chess as best as possible. So, of course, they had stumbling blocks because it's 1970s, early 1980s. So first of all, there are things like her sister Susan refused to play in women's tournaments because she did not find them interesting. Women's tournaments were more of kind of a sideshow, and she insisted on playing in real chess tournaments, the ones that are supposedly for men. And partially as a result of that, she was not given her GM status for a very long time. So although she was supposed to become grandmaster, they would not give her that status because she was getting into arguments with officials. And of course the screen died, but okay, I'll just do it without presentation, then I'm sorry. Nothing I can do about the screen. And Judith as well was not taken very seriously, especially in the beginning. But it's not large enough, I think. I can try, but
We sit.
Yeah, you can change your seat. You can go ahead. Oh my god. We can try.
We can sit close.
Let me try to move it a little bit. I should not have put childhood. First stumbling blocks, yeah. And Judith was not taken seriously, especially in the beginning as well. She started playing in tournaments at a young age. I think she started playing at the age of 6 in tournaments already. And first of all, she's a child, and second of all, she's a girl. So two of these things together meant that a lot of people were thinking of her as, somebody who's just playing around, but soon they'll realize that it's not for them, and they'll, go home. But her career started rising quite rapidly. So she started competing, as I said, at age of 6. At age of 10 was her first victory against another international master, right? So this was quite a achievement. If you think about it, a 10-year-old child and winning against international master, it's not something unheard of. There are lots of they called child prodigies, that do something like that, and even today there are a lot of very young grandmasters. Her first victory against GM was at age of 11. She won against Lev Gutman. I actually do not know who Lev Gutman is. Neither do I know Dolphy Drimmer. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I know a little bit about chess, but not enough to actually know these names. In August 1988, at age of 12, she won under 12 boys tournament. So the interesting thing is that in August she was already 12, and she won competition for boys who were before 12. But as I understand it, she started when she was not 12 yet, so they let her in, and she went to play boys rather than girls because she did not want to play against girls. It was too boring for her. There is a quote at the end. I put at the end of presentation some of quotes by her, and there is a quote about that tournament in there. And at 12, she becomes an international master. So she qualifies. It's several stages of qualifying. You have to first get to certain rating to even get them to consider you, and then you have to win certain games. I'm unsure how it works exactly, so but as I understand it, you have to win in a tournament or something, and they look at what sort of tournament you're playing. It has to be a tournament at a certain level, and then once you do that, then they give you international master. Grandmaster Polgár. In December 1991, at age of 15 years and 9 months, she becomes a grandmaster by winning Hungarian national championship. So basically she beats Bobby Fischer's record by 1 month. You heard about Bobby Fischer, I assume. There's even a film. He was one of the greatest, if not the greatest, chess player of all time. Although he was a very insane person, he actually went completely insane at the end of his life. He had several mental problems, and by the end of his life, he wasn't talking to anybody. He was afraid that Jews, Americans, and communists are gonna go and kill him, and he's
What for?
I don't know. So chess players sometimes are a little crazy, but Bobby Fischer was a genius as a chess player, and he also became GM at a very young age, and she beat him by 1 month. Right now, there are even younger players. I think there is a gentleman from India who is a record holder right now, who is like very, I don't remember at what age he became GM, but it's also very, very young. At the top of her career, she was 2735 FIDE rating. So that you understand, the top player right now is about 2,800 something. So it's the rating system is very interesting. You have to win certain games. So when you win a game, not every game will get you points because you have to win against somebody about your rating. If you're winning against players who are much lower than you, you're actually going to get nothing. So you have to find somebody about your level to actually gain points. And it's very difficult to actually get to that level. It's incredibly high. And even right now, her current rating is 2675. And as I said, she's not playing anymore. So it's probably going to be that rating for the rest of the history because she's not playing rated games. And that's, how she's going to be remembered. There was some real kind of high controversies about her. One of them was touch move controversy. I made a mistake. I wrote Karpov. It's against Kasparov.
I wanted to ask about it.
Yeah.
She played with.
Yeah, she is a player who won more. She won games against quite a lot of top players. So she beat Karpov, she beat Kasparov, she beat Kamsky, she beat even all of the. She at least one game she won, and it's a very weird thing that especially because she was a woman, everybody assumed that she could not do that. Bobby Fischer, for example, there is a thing that Bobby Fischer said that he will give a knight to any woman. So basically,
how old she was when
but there were different. So if you think about there are at different times. These two games she did not win. So with Kasparov, what happened was Kasparov made a move, and then he let go of the piece and then grabbed it right away and then moved it to a different place. By the rules of chess, if you let the piece go, the move is over. That's it. You move. She was still very young, so 1922. So she was very young, and she did not say anything because you have to actually say something. You cannot, you cannot sit there. And but she says that she was young. She was playing against the top player of the world at the time, Kasparov, and she was like she didn't know what to do. She looked at the arbiter. She looked at the referee. The kind of what happened, and she looked at her back and just like, what? Later on, they got a videotape, and they showed that for one frame of videotape, so for 1/25th of the second, Kasparov's fingers actually were off the piece. So it was very quickly that he did that. And after the game, she went and talked to him, and basically both of them were very upset. Kasparov did not speak to her for like 3 years after that because she accused him of cheating. And she said as far as because there is no record of that. But as the story goes, she said, "How can you do this to me? How can you, you're a top player. I am a child. How can you do this?" He got very upset.
It's amazing.
But the tournament both of them finished very poorly because they got so upset about the whole situation. Kasparov played very badly after that, and she played very badly after that. Because it's an intense moment.
They tired up of.
Yeah, but the referee just they kept the victory. Kasparov won. So and Kasparov was winning. So Kasparov was winning that game. It wasn't like she was winning and then Kasparov cheated. No, Kasparov was winning. He shouldn't have done that. But you know, in the game, you get emotional and you do fast. You know, it happened. And there was another thing with stalemate. Stalemate in Russian is pat. So there is mate, right? When you put somebody in mate, you win. Stalemate is when your opponent cannot move. So it's not a mate, but and then
Половина, что ли?
yeah,
Soulmate есть.
stale is
In Russian it is
Pot.
pot.
yeah. So the thing was, normally when you see grandmasters playing each other, if one of them is really, really winning, the other one resigns. But Judit Polgár, she never resigned. That was one of the things, that she would not resign until the very end. Resign when she just says, "Okay, you win."
Okay.
Yeah, like I give up, you know, waving the white flag. But she doesn't resign. So she's playing against Karpov in 1998, and it's clear that Karpov is winning. In fact, Karpov, I read somewhere that he leaned over and he said, "Why aren't you resigning?" Like, because he's winning. He won. That's it. It's only a matter of time now. What is it to think about? What is it to do? And then Karpov makes a mistake and puts her in a stalemate, and she cannot move. And if it's a stalemate, you know, if it's a mate, then you let's say I put my opponent in mate, then I get 1 point, my opponent gets 0. But a stalemate, it's a tie, meaning everybody gets half a point. So her strategy of not resigning actually worked. She could not win, but you know, her opponent made a mistake, and it was stalemate. So it's a very kind of
Stalemate second.
no, stalemate, pot. She could not move. Touch move, it's when the car, it's just when he moved and then he released and then he touched, you know, he let go. So it's called touch move. And now a little bit of her quotes that I found on the internet. The first one is about that first tournament that I was talking about, when she played in boys' tournament rather than girls' tournament. And she said, "These other girls are not serious about chess. I practice 5 or 6 hours a day, but they get distracted by cooking and work around the house." And that just shows, well, that's what I was saying. That's the training that they will. That's the training they were going through. And she was known for being a very aggressive player. It was very interesting. She's a very interesting person in that sense. Okay. Another quote is, "Playing chess has many aspects that can be useful in everyday situations, like planning, concentration, and combinations. You learn to win, but also to lose and to be creative." So that's her take on chess as a whole. Chess is 30 to 40% psychology. You don't have this when you play computer. I can't confuse it. And because, as you know, right now computers are becoming better and better at playing chess. Right now computers play chess better than any human plays chess. And in one sense she's correct, because computers, they don't have emotions. They don't get upset. You cannot do that thing when you refuse to resign, because computer will win. Computer doesn't care. Computer doesn't get upset. It doesn't rush. It will just calculate the correct move and it will move there.
I remember in my childhood I used to play chess. I was in school.
School club, you would say?
Yes, school club. I had a teacher, and every month in our city there was a competition. Chess tournament. And I was crying when my opponent was the strongest in the city in my age group.
But another quote I heard is one of the things that actually is becoming true right now. India and China are improving by leaps and bounds, and it will be their chess players who will lead the revolution of the 21st century. And right now, there are a lot of great chess players who are coming out, the new generation of chess players.
Can I ask a question?
Huh?
Were there any cases when a person won a computer? Or
Okay, there are, which computer? Because there are different computer programs, right? First of all, when computers started, there was a thing when Deep Blue played against Kasparov. There's an interesting thing that IBM cheated a little bit. They didn't do it correctly. Right now, the rules against playing computer are very different. Because, for example, they refused to give him any previous games. They said, our computer didn't play anybody yet, so there is so you cannot prepare, right? Today they say, if your computer hasn't played any games, make it play against other computers and then give me those games. You have to do that. But today it's useless because, for example, rating-wise, the top human is 28 something like that, 2800 something. Top computer, 3200. Computers, so just so that you understand, let's say you take a good chess player, let's say you take like best chess player of Anapа, right? They will be, maybe, I don't know, best chess player of Anapа, they may be rated, let's say 2000, right? The best chess player in the world, who is today Magnus Carlsen, is 28,000, right? So you take that difference, and half of that difference is that what you need to add to get to the computer. So computer is another third up from that. The top computers, they are so much stronger right now. It's possible to confuse. There are certain combinations which computers play not as good as humans, and the competitions that they have now, if it's human against computer, often what they will do is human with another computer. So, for example, human can use a computer 3 times against the computer, right? Or they will give a pawn, for example, like a computer will have to take away one of their pawns at the beginning. Something like that. Or they play against older versions of programs. If you play some sort of open combination against a strong computer, it's useless. I mean, computers that you have, like your telephone. Your telephone can play about on the level of Magnus Carlsen. That's a top player of the world. And when you put like a real computer that is made for playing chess, and you put a top chess engine on it, and plus you have to remember right now Google is making artificial intelligence. They did AlphaZero for playing chess, and AlphaZero arguably is even better than some of the chess engines because it's learning all the time. It's trying to get better. So humans, it will not be interesting. If you, it's interesting right now to watch computers play versus computers. They do different engines, one playing another.
Computer against computer.
Yeah, like there is Stockfish, very good engine. Houdini, another very good one. Komodo, also a very good one. So there are about 3 of these great engines, and one of them always gets into the top place. But they're chess games. I've watched them. They are not like human games. They are very different. It's very strange to watch them, and there are a little different rules. So, for example, what they do, they will say you have to start like these games. You have to start with this move. Because otherwise, each engine has moves that they prefer in the opening, but they'll say, okay, so first you have to start with this opening, then you have to start with this. So it will be interesting to actually watch this. So this is it. I actually got a presentation by her that she did in TED Talks. It's about 15 minutes long. If you want to watch that,
What about?
it's about her playing chess. It's about her. She did it about a couple of years ago. About talking about how she played chess, her life, stuff like that.
I think it was be interesting if we would have chess desk here and play.
Well,
Decide
there's a chess board, but it's only one chess board, and we have 4 people right now, so it's not. And it's interesting. It's interesting to play against somebody about your level. It's not if somebody is much stronger than you or much weaker than you, then it is actually a boring game. Because if it's somebody's, it's kind of, oh my god, why am I doing this? There is a chess club. They meet on Saturday in here.
Here in the
They
library.
sometimes here and sometimes on the parallel street over there. So they like when I went there once. I lost all games except one. I only won one game. But one guy cheated. One guy cheated me. He moved his bishop horizontally. And I did the same thing as Judit Polgár. I was like, how do you do? And then I lost on time. To that guy. It's very upsetting. I'm still upset about that. It's silly. It's stupid. But
I play chess with my mother at home every day, and it's a good brain train.
it teaches you concentration.
Yeah.
It teaches you kind of to visualize the future, because you have to think about what will happen if I do this, what will happen if I'll do that. It's not, it's not like if you play chess, then you'll be able to predict the future in the real. It doesn't work that way. No, chess. That is why I actually think that's why so many chess players go insane. Because they try to say, oh, I play chess, and now let's try to predict, human politics and stuff like that. And they try to do that, and it doesn't work. It's a little different. You need to a little bit. It's fuzzy logic. When it has to do with humans, you have to use fuzzy logic. When some things you know, some things you don't know, and you kind of try to guess. With chess, you see the whole board. There is, like poker is actually maybe better analogy for human play, because you don't see everything, you see only part of the thing. But on chessboard, you see the whole board. There's nothing, you cannot hide anything. If you try to hide it, you're playing the wrong game. I like to play online. Online, over the internet.
I tried playing online, and every game I